Greetings and welcome to another video in which I want to summarize all the things that I'm personally preparing for the release of the first Savage raid tier of Dawntrail, which is going to be released on the 30th of July, that is the Tuesday of next week. As this might be the best opportunity to make millions over millions of gil or be ahead of the curve with your raiding experience, this is definitely going to be a quite long video, so my apologies in advance. Before talking about the preparations for crafters, let us talk about the things you need to take care of as non-crafter, or even possibilities to earn a solid coin without lifting a finger on the crafting department. First of all, you have to know that the Arcadion light heavyweight raid in normal mode is the unlock requirement. So if you want to start into that content, go to the quest A New Challenger Appears found in Solution 9. Then go through the quest and complete each fight for the first quarter of encounters on their normal mode difficulty level, which also provides tokens that you can exchange against nice item level 710 gear that is a solid upgrade over the one you can get from tomestones or dungeons. And if you don't want to spend millions over millions on crafted battle gear next week, this is a solid way to get started into the first Savage fights. Just remember that these are limited to one piece of currency per fight, so maybe choose the accessories if you want a lot of these items. Alright, apart from the obvious level jobs up that seem decently powerful right now, you should focus on those jobs that you enjoy playing a lot, because performance is mostly improved if you play the job you're comfortable with, more than that which is placed on a high spot of a tier list or something like that. Therefore check out my leveling guide or the follow-up video talking about Aglaia literally being a cheat code for leveling at the moment. However, what you should consider doing is leveling up a tank, because new tomestones will be introduced next week as well, and it is very beneficial to have instant Q pops on expert or endgame stuff in general, which tanks always guarantee. Healers are hot stuff too, which is why I chose the summoner first, so that I automatically have a healing job available for endgame. Coming to gil making as battle job, if you didn't exchange your MSQ covers yet, definitely do so now, because many players are leveling up their crafted jobs and might spend more gil than they found acceptable before, because they want to get up their final crafting jobs to 100 before the new battle gears being introduced. So check out my cover exchange video again if those covers are still to be found in your inventory. While bicolor gemstone ingredients might not be used for the upcoming battle gear, they might be worth selling now because of the reason I mentioned earlier. People are leveling up their crafting jobs and are willingly spending more gil than they did in the past 2 weeks. However, the big seller for those that stick to fighting and gil making in the process are definitely your tomestones of aesthetics. You want to have as much as possible from these, because they will offer the new mainframe of materials for the new battle gear. In some patches of Endwalker, those materials sold like 10k per piece, which is bought in a 20 tomestone conversion. So basically 2k tomes could possibly provide a million gil or even more than that. And when mentioning making gil while fighting, did you check the prices of endgame materia? This is not cheap, right? And while I don't really recommend buying out tons of these now to sell them on the patch day, I would make sure to have some of them available, because melding and pentamelding the whole crafted battle gear can lead to a crazy supply issue in those. Even though people have grinded down Dawntrail clusters over the past months like crazy in A rank trains, which by the way is the ultimate way to combine farming for clusters that you can exchange against materia, plus receiving Alagan tomestones of aesthetics on top. And when the new tomestones are getting introduced, these will be added as well, not mentioning sack of nuts that will be needed on later patches for upgrades on tombstone gear, or even tomestones of poetics. So if you happen to find an A rank hunting Discord in your data center, make sure to join and participate, as this is unbeatable by any other tombstone farming method right now. And as you're even receiving tomestones of poetics, you can use that to get level 90 gear for your alts or even Endwalker relic weapons. Okay, let us talk about crafting preparations. I highly recommend checking out Zane Lionheart and leave him a sub, because he goes into detail way more than I do here and also talks about gathering, where my progress is still stuck in Endwalker. But on crafting, I just leveled up all my DOH jobs to 100 and equipped them with decently melded eye level 690 gear. If you haven't leveled them up, I highly recommend to make use of your leaf quest allowances and check out my crafter leveling video, because having access to crafting all endgame materials and items yourself is an absolute must for the next patch, if you really want to play that gil making game seriously. Maybe you can keep the culinarian low, but I recommend to get them all up just for being able to get rid of the old level 90 crafter gear, which will otherwise clutter your inventory or armory space. Above that, I have used all my old materia in the gear which I extracted from the indicator stuff, because I don't believe that the new battle gear require players to have fully pentamelded their gear, and using smart rotations, food and pots will easily get you a solid crafting value. And you can always use high quality materials if something is not up to the required control level. So if you level up your crafters, you should either get all left side equipment from scripts, but as you have to stick to craft accessories, I highly recommend crafting this by yourself. I managed to make a macro with which I can craft all the 690 gear with my 620 crafting gear from Endwalker. You can find 2 different combinations of macros in the comments section, but make sure to check out if those work for you, with a trial synthesis for example, as those are heavily optimized for the gear and stats that I had when I crafted those items. On that regard, you might easily save a million when crafting all the items by yourself. Alright, after having all crafter gear set up, it is time to meld it. Therefore aim for the highest craftsmanship or control materia you have in your inventory or that is still within reasonable guild ranges to buy out. And fill up the pentamelded slots with CP materia. If you don't plan to pentameld, make sure to insert CP materia first, because that is the bread and butter for each crafter due to being able to make your rotation work better the higher CP values you have. After all that is done, I would usually recommend which items you should already craft or prepare. But things have been so different in the past couple of Endwalker patches that I would not dare to make predictions on these topics anymore. Just one thing, remember that crafted battle gear will always use endgame ingredients as well, so if you find all those items very inexpensively that you also use to craft your crafter gear, just keep it. And as ether sands are always used, make sure to get the Dawntrail versions of them. Alright, last but not least, the most important thing to prepare for crafted battle gear are purple scripts for the master recipe books, which then will contain said gear. While the requirements are speculated to be 1200 purple scripts or even 1600 per book, there's one easy solution for that. Just craft collectible Endwalker recipes, because you can make use of an awesome skill called Trained Eye. This will grant you 100% quality if the crafted item is 10 levels below your level. Afterwards you can easily finish with 3 groundworks or 1 veneration and 2 groundworks. Alchemist's rarefied draught or culinarian crafts seem to be the cheapest, but you can craft whatever your DOH job has available. Just remember that those can't be stacked, so make sure that you have a solid amount of inventory space left. So if all this is secured, you're absolutely stacked and pumped for making some amazing profit off the Savage patch next week. But like always, feel free to add some additional tips in the comments section or check out Zane Lionheart. He goes way more into detail and talks about the gathering part of preparation as well. So definitely check out his video in the description. Thank you for watching, and remember to enjoy new content in the way that you like. No one else dictates you how to play the game except for yourself. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep loving Final Fantasy.